One of the most underrated things for me in the summer transfer window is when a club can get their star player to sign a new contract and commit their, even if it's short term, future to that club. And I think it would be better than any signing they could make this summer as well. Possibly their most important business they will do. Because when you sign a player, you don't know if it's going to be a success or not. You obviously hope it will be. You do as much due diligence as you can, and much scouting and research to make sure you're signing the right player. But the player you've already got that's already performing at a high level is already a key member of your squad. You know he will be a success next season. So if you can get that player to commit their future to your club, even if it's just for the next 1 year, that's a success. That could potentially be the best bit of business you will do this summer. And that's very much the case with Everton and Jarrad Branthwaite. And then we've got Bournemouth with Semenyo. That's what we'll be discussing today. But before we do that, just want to say a massive thank you to Sparksane for the $10 on my video the other day. Just said, keep making these videos. Well, Sparksane, thank you very much for your help between yourself and Peter, who've donated 2 super chats. That counts for half my revenue on the channel for the entire month. So a massive thank you. And I'll do my best to keep making these videos. But if you do enjoy it, please do subscribe. And also drop a like on the video as well by clicking the thumbs up button. I'm a small channel, so every like helps a lot. Thank you very much. So, Everton have announced that Branthwaite signed a new contract, Bournemouth with Semenyo. I'm going to start with the Cherries because they were getting picked apart. They've obviously lost Howson to Real Madrid. They've also lost Kerkez to Liverpool. Kepa went back to Chelsea and they didn't buy him for some reason, which I feel was a bit strange. But he's announced now as an Arsenal player. And then there's talk of Cliver, there's talk of Semenyo, there's talk of Zabarni going to PSG. That's still expected to happen. So as a Bournemouth fan, understandably, you're a little bit worried going into next season. To see Semenyo commit his future is a big relief. Now, I think Bournemouth arguably couldn't do too much with the Howson and Kerkez thing. Both players wanted the deals. But with Semenyo, I think they did the right thing. Price him out of a move. Put a 70 million price tag on him. I don't think he's worth that personally. But this is the whole selling and buying argument. Is he worth 70 million to Newcastle United? No, I don't think he is. I think he's overpriced. But that's what he's worth to Bournemouth, so that's the price they put on him. They put 70 million on him for that reason. They don't want to sell him. But they've gone one extra and managed to get him to sign a new contract. Now, I've got no doubt Semenyo will be financially rewarded for sticking around at Bournemouth. And there may be a minimum fee release clause in his contract. But even if there is one, that's okay, because what you've just done, you've just bought yourself time. And we know that Bournemouth's price tag is 70 million. So if there is a release clause in there, it wouldn't be too far off. Maybe there's a 60 million. Maybe that's the whole agreement between the player and the club. But I think these deals, these transactions, these agreements, they're not a bad thing. And I appreciate people will see Bournemouth as a selling club. But actually, I see it the opposite. I could understand why Bournemouth would be incredibly appealing to any young player playing European football right now. If you're playing in France or Belgium and you're wanting a move to a Premier League, Champions League club, for example, Bournemouth has shown if you come to us and you perform really well with our brand of football, which is a great brand of football to play, people enjoy it, people watch it, it gets a lot of plaudits, but you come here, you perform at the Vitality Stadium, we will not stand in your way. Real Madrid come knocking, we'll do business. If Liverpool come knocking, we'll do business. If you stick around, we'll give you a new contract. We will reward you. I think what Bournemouth have done here is fantastic. They can just breathe a sigh of relief that they're going to retain Semenyo for at least one season. And I keep reiterating that point because I would expect, I don't know, I would expect there's a form of release clause. But what that does is it buys Bournemouth time. And I think that's important because they've already replaced Kerkez. There's a belief that they've replaced him adequately with Truffet or Truffet. How do you say it? Is it Truffet? English version is Truffet, right? It's probably Truffet, but we'll call him Truffet on this channel. They've replaced him already because they knew Kerkez was likely to be leaving. So they identified a new left back so that when Kerkez, well, before Kerkez had even left, his replacement was at the club. I have no doubt that in the next 12 months, Bournemouth will be looking for a potential replacement for Semenyo, because they will know exactly what that deal that's been done between the club and the player is. Now, you never know. Semenyo may stay at Bournemouth for years upon years, and I hope he does. But what Bournemouth have done is just give themselves time and a bit of a safety net. This is fantastic news for them, just like Branthwaite signing a new deal with Everton. Now, I think it was maybe easier for Everton to do that, because with Semenyo, there was a couple of clubs, Man United, even Arsenal was loosely linked to him, Spurs were linked to him, Newcastle United were heavily linked to him. It doesn't mean any of them were interested, but there was a lot of talk that he could potentially be leaving Bournemouth. I haven't really seen that with Branthwaite. I've seen him linked to Man United heavily, of course I have, but that's it. It hasn't really gone beyond that. So I think it makes it slightly easier to negotiate that. And I think, like Semenyo, I think Branthwaite's at a really good club for his development, playing under a good manager for his development. And he's got time on his side, Branthwaite. He doesn't need to be in a hurry. And actually, if Manchester United were the only club interested in him, I think he's better staying at Everton. Now, I'm not going to suggest that in 5 years' time, Everton will be a better club than Man United. I don't know. But what I feel quite confident is, next season, there won't be much between them. Is Man United a step up from Everton? Well, yes, Man United are a massive club. They're one of the biggest clubs in the world. But in terms of football right here, right now, I don't think it's that much of a step up. I think Branthwaite's done the right thing, which is stay where you are. You have another excellent season at Everton. You'll be in the England squad if Tuchel is willing to ignore this Champions League rule here. You're good enough to be in the England squad. You should be in the England squad. You have a strong season at Everton. Next summer, it won't be Manchester United looking at you. It'll be Manchester City that's looking at you. It'll be Liverpool that's looking at you. I think he's good enough to go on and become one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League. He's not that far off it. I think he's a little bit far away from the best centre-backs in the Premier League. I don't think he's quite at that level yet. But could he get there? Well, you look at him, you think you'd imagine so. He's got everything you want as a centre-back. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he's at a big club already. He's at a really good club for him. I think Moyes is a good manager for a centre-back. Stay where you are. I'm pleased that he signed that contract there. Moving to the new stadium, it's a big occasion for a football club, and it's a big occasion for anyone involved at Everton next season. So Branthwaite staying there, I think, is the right thing for him in his career for now. Like I said, he may also have a minimum fee release clause. I don't know. But even if he does, as long as Everton are happy with that transfer fee, and it's not going to be anything small, it will be a significant sum of money, then it's win-win. In the meantime, Branthwaite gets financially rewarded, but he's also got that security that if someone does come in for him in the future, he knows what it's going to take them to get out of that club. Likewise, Everton know we'll get this. For the next year, we're going to have our top centre-back, and if anyone does come in for them, we will get a large sum of money. It's win-win for Bournemouth, Everton, Semenyo and Branthwaite. I think it's really good news for club and players involved. Pedro's been confirmed as a Chelsea player. You've probably already seen that one. But lastly, I just want to discuss Sunderland. They are showing ambition, and I like it. When I talk on this channel, I do my best to be un-West Ham as possible, unbiased as possible. Client Blue Specs need to come off and stay off, right? Because what I'm away to say here may involve West Ham without even saying West Ham. I think it's very important for the Premier League next season, at least one of the promoted teams stay up. Because a lot of Premier League football fans that don't support one of the Sky Sports 6 will complain about the Sky Sports 6, and there's merit in those complaints. There's foundations there. So if you're a Villa fan, a Newcastle fan, a Crystal Palace fan, a Brighton fan, West Ham, so on, and you complain about them, the cartel of the Premier League, I think it's valid for a lot of things. But there's been a frustration looking at them, thinking they're trying to make it a bit of a closed shop financially. And when you see the money they're chucking around this summer already, it's hard not to. You know, Chelsea have spent 1.5 billion in 3 years. It's hard not to look at that and think, what's the point? What is the point? 12 months ago, you've seen Newcastle United being forced to sell Elliot Anderson and Minter They didn't want to sell those players, but they had to because of PSR. Then you see the other clubs at it. What's the point? Well, we've got to be very, very fair here as fans of West Ham United, Brentford, Palace, Newcastle, Wolves, everyone else. What we can't have is a big 17. We can't have a closed shop in the Premier League. 2 seasons now where all 6, well, 3, but in total, 6 promoted teams, 6 relegated teams. I don't think we can make it 9 out of 9. I think at least one of them need to stay up. I think it's important for the Premier League. I think it's important for the Championship. Otherwise, what you'll get is the Championship teams saying the exact same thing about the Premier League as to what we say about those 6 clubs. What's the point? What's the point of getting promoted? We can't compete. They've closed the shop. The gates are locked. We can't get in. We get to go up there for a year, get our tummies rubbed and our bellies tickled, and we get sent packing back to the Championship. I hope one of those teams stay up next season, at least one of them. And this is why it could be bad news for West Ham, because if someone drops out, it could be us. Sunderland. Now, I don't know Habib Diarra. I don't know Noah Siddiqui. I don't know who they are. There's a lot of hype and I've read a lot of things about both players. They sound really, really good. So if you're a Sunderland fan tuning in, thinking, it's brilliant, this random Scottish guy is going to give us an insight into our new signings. It's not happening here, I'm afraid. I don't know who they are. I know their positions, their fees. I know what you know. Read what you've read, seen what you've seen. Petrovic, though, they are looking to sign Petrovic from Chelsea for 25 million. It's been very clear for quite a while now that Chelsea and Petrovic have agreed 25 million and he can leave, and he wants to leave. He wants to be a number 1 somewhere. Sunderland are the ones leading the race for him. I do know about him. I think he would be a fantastic signing for Sunderland. Because rule of thumb is, would I have him at West Ham? That's my rule of thumb. When looking at Sunderland, Leeds United, Wolves, whenever they go after a player, my thinking is, would I have that player at West Ham United? Petrovic, 100% yes. I think he's a top goalkeeper for the Premier League. I think they'll be very happy with him. I still think they need a striker. I'm looking at Sunderland. I'm looking at the team compared from last season to what they've got now. I'm looking at them thinking they need to get a goal scorer in. They need to get in a number 9 that's going to... They need a Liam Delap, that type of signer is going to get them 12, 13 goals next season. Because what they've got now and what they've added or adding to that squad, I think defensively, iffy. Midfield looks good. They look strong in the middle of the park. It's that attacking side of the game. I think they need to get a striker. There's still 2 months of the transfer window to go through, right? There's plenty of time to address it. But I do think they need to get that guy in that's going to get them goals. Because when you're down the bottom of the table, or you expect to be down the bottom of the table, if you've got a goal scorer, you give yourself half a chance. You look at Wolves last season, who were in a relegation battle for a part of it. They had Cunha. In the end, they had Larson as well. We, West Ham, we had Jarrad Bowen. Ipswich had Liam Delap, but that wasn't enough. But it felt like they made a better fist of it compared to Southampton, who didn't really have a goal scorer, and Leicester City, who had Jamie Vardy there, but not really enough, is it? You know, Brentford, who shot up the table towards the end, but they had Wissa, they had Mbomo, Crystal Palace have got Mateta, Eze. It doesn't matter who you think. Fulham, they're lacking a goal scorer as well, but Muniz was chipping in with just enough. Jimenez was chipping in with enough. I think Sunderland need to make sure they can get themselves a striker, but I like what they're doing. In terms of their player profiles they're going after as well, it's impressive. They've turned up, they've got promoted, they've turned up. They're showing real ambition, because when they got promoted, I wasn't sure they'd be all right. I thought they would struggle a bit. They've got some players that could be good enough for the Premier League. I think Chris Rigg is the perfect example. Could be, may eventually be good enough for the Premier League. But right now, I'm not sure. It's a big step. But what they're doing transfer business-wise is impressive. Funnily enough, it's Leeds I thought would be doing impressive business, and I'm waiting to see them really kick into action. But anyway, there's your Premier League transfer show. So well done Everton, well done Bournemouth, and Sunderland looking tasty. I rate it.